If a Turkish man wearing the Turkish colors on the international stage is throwing that shit up, that is pretty significant. I can't even be proud of my country for like 2.5 days before some asshole ruins it, you know? I'm saying it. That's right. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. You can get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. What the f? Hey, yo, this dude is crazy. This mother. What did he do, bro? Are you serious? Way, dude. What? Okay, hold on. Let me run the 3-minute ad break real quick. Like I said, you can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. But that is, bro, that shit is like Sig Heiling, okay? Like, it's like, yeah, obviously it's not like, you know, I mean, it's ultra-nationalist, right-wing paramilitary shit. Like, what? Like, I joke about this because like a lot of Americans don't understand it. But if you're representing the country on an international stage, throwing that up is insane. Okay? I'm telling you, Americans, I know you don't know what the f this is. That is the CCC thing. Yes. So this is the symbol, is the hand symbol for the Grey Wolves. Okay? Ülkücü. The Grey Wolves are, you know, the deep state paramilitary project of the far-right reactionary ultra-nationalist fascist Turkish Nationalist Party. Okay? MHP. MHP. If a Turkish man wearing the Turkish colors on the international stage is throwing that shit up, that is pretty significant. Okay? A lot of you in America, you know, this is like, oh, the quiet wolf or whatever the we actually ironically talked about it. We ironically talked about it on the last episode of Fear and our podcast, I believe, or one of the last episodes. Yeah, people think it's a quiet coyote, not quiet wolf, whatever. And like, I'll throw it up Mimi every now and then. I'll do it. I know Chapo makes jokes about the Grey Wolves a lot, but ultimately doing that in this circumstance as a Turkish person, this is like really up. In Turkey, people don't associate this gesture with ultra-nationalists. No, dude. First of all, I'm Turkish. What the are you talking about? No, people don't associate it with ultra-nationalism because they don't have a concept of ultra-nationalism. They think MHP is a part of the ruling coalition, which it is. Ülke Ocakları operate in Turkey. That's because Turkey is incredibly nationalist. So yes, they just think ultra-nationalists are just like a little bit more nationalist than the regular old nationalists. Because that is what is seen as normal. I see that he also doubled down on it. Merih Demiral, Türklükle alakalı aklına bir gol sevinci vardı, onu yaptım. Türk olduğum için gurur duyuyorum. O yüzden golden sonra onu iliklerime kadar hissettim. Yaptığımdan dolayı da çok mutluyum. İyi ki yapmışım. Oh my God. I had a goal celebration in my mind related to Turkishness, so I did it. I'm proud to be Turkish. So after the goal, I felt it in my bones. I'm very happy with what I did. I'm glad I did it. Jesus Christ. Oh, and yes, this guy, you're sending me literally like the weird esoteric fascists of Turkey like accounts. Okay? Tüm Türk dünyasını ve tarihini seven bir Türkçü. A Turk that loves, a pro-Turkish person that loves the entirety of the Turk nation, Turk world and its history. Bölücü, dinci, batıcı, Avrasyacı, liboş, fedoş, partizan, abazan, kezban, feminazi, meriç ve itfapar düşmanı. Oh my God. Türk düşmanı mısın? Hayır abicim. Ama benden nasyonalizm bekliyorsanız salaksınız yani. Lütfen okuma, utanıyorum. CHP lider Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, Ekrem İmamoğlu, Ankara Meyer Mansur Yavaş. Okay, he's not throwing up the Grey Wolf here. Also, isn't he Kurdish? What the is this guy saying? Yeah, I know the flag, dude. I know. This only proves the point I was making, which is that once again, it's because all these are hyper nationalist. Okay, Kılıçdaroğlu has done the sign to be fair, and he's Zaza and Alevi. Yeah, that's crazy. It's so funny because it's like, bana laf atıyorsun da Türkiye'de yaşamıyorsun. Türkiye problemlerine karışma be. Oğlum dünya stajındayız. Okay? Internasyonel audience'ın önünde böyle bir salaklığa inanamıyorum yani. Gerçekten. Hem de gurur duymamız gereken bir anda 2-1 anasını siktik Avusturya'nın. Ondan sonra geliyor adam amına koyuyor. Böyle bir salaklık olamaz yani. Gerçekten. Bunu dönüp de savunmaya çalışmayın. Salaksınız yani. Bu faşizm, nasyonalizm. Bundan korkmanız gerekiyor. Bunu savunmak inanılmaz yani. Fascism and nationalism is so normalized in Turkey that people keep sending pictures of politicians doing it to justify the cause. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like this only further cements the position I have, which is that hyper nationalism is like a completely normal position in Turkey. Showing other throwing up the wolf doesn't change that reality. Politik sembol oldu diye kaç yüzyıllık, 1000 yıllık Türk mitolojisini çöpe mi atalım? Al işte amına koyayım. İnanamıyorum yani. Oğlum burada pantronik adamlar mı var gerçekten yani bu? Ya oğlum benim politik düşüncelerimin ne olduğunu siz bilmiyor musunuz? İngilizce anlamadığınız için galiba geliyorsunuz buraya. Manyak mısın oğlum sen? 1100 yıllık mitoloji ne abi? Saçmalama ya. Ha evet, kurttan büyüdük biz. Evet, kurttan doğduk amına koyayım. Manyak herif ya. Oğlum Lord of the Rings'e inanıyor bu herifler ya. Böyle bir saçmalık olabilir mi? O zaman Nazileri niye sevmiyorsun abi? Çünkü Alman oldukları için mi? O mitolojik konsept aynı yani. Nasyonalizm her zaman aynı. Eğer benim gibi büyürken Tarkan, işte ne bileyim, bu eski, yok sempatim bile yok. Mitolojinin tanımı o değil mi ama amına koyayım. Tabii inanan yok ama senin kültürün ve edebiyatın buradan doğuyor. Oğlum mitolojiyi öğrenmek başka bir şey. Mitoloji gerçek diye savunmak ve nasyonalizm yapmak başka bir şey. Oh my god, there's actually Turkish people in the chat trying to be like, dude, it's Turkish mythology for 1,000 years. How are you going to cast that aside? Ilık su solcusu mu oldun? Ilık su solcusu ne demek lan? Bak kral bence de yapmamalıydı ama mal futbolcu milli duygu ayağına yaptı. Dediğim gibi yapmamalıydı ama Avrupa'da çok abartıyor. Ausländer Raus tezahüratlarını kimse siklemiyor. Bizim elemanı uyarırız, bir daha yapmaz inşallah. Evet arkadaş, Ausländer Raus'u yapanlar ama taraftar. Türk taraftarları da bok yediği zaman yine kızıyorlar ama günün sonunda taraftar. Eğer bir tane Almancı futbolcu çıkıp Ausländer Raus diye şey yapsa, bak diyorum ya, inanamıyorum, İngilizce iyice artık bozdum, Türkçem falan kalmadı amına koyayım. Devamlı diyorum Türkçe, sanki Türkçe bir kelimeymiş gibi. Tövbe estağfurullah. Okay. That Turkish chatter said, well, all the the fans always say Ausländer Raus, which is obviously like the song that has taken over German summer destinations, which is like Germany for Germans. It's fascist Nazi shit, right? It's a false equivalency. It's saying like foreigners out, Germany for Germans, foreigners out. And he's making a false equivalency between fandoms and hooligans saying fascist nationalist shit and an actual person who's wearing the goddamn flag on his chest. The equivalence would be if a German comes up and sings that after a goal or Sig Heils after a goal, okay? If that was the case, then yes, that person should also get punishments for it. Gurbetçisin, ülke sorunlarına karışma. Sikimden aşağı Kasımpaşa. Yarrağımın anteni. Gurbetçisin diyor gerizekalı. Beni Erdoğancı Almancılarla karşılaştırma. Götüne sokarım yarrağı. Hayvan oğlu hayvan. Gurbetçisin. Evet abi, o yüzden faşist gençlik devam. Helal olsun. Being like you're living in foreign land. Don't worry yourself about Turkish domestic affairs. Yeah, dude, the country that I've spent the first 18 years of my life in, that my entire family lives in, I shouldn't be worried when fascism is thriving, dude. You're right. You know, Americans tell me I should shut the fuck up about America and go back to my country. Okay? Turks tell me you live in America, shut the fuck up. We're gonna do some nationalism. Abi sana yardımcı olur hareket MHP'nin sembolü. Oğlum bilmiyor muyum zannediyorsun? Yapmayın etmeyin Allah Allah dedim işte. Ülke ocakları. Madımak katliamında da yaptılar. Şimdi Türklüğün sembolü diye satıyorlar. Evet böyle bir yalan yok yani. Anyway. Bence diaspora kafasında bunu yaptı. Bana öyle geliyor. Ülkücü. Ha bu amına kodum Türkiye'de yaşamıyor mu bir de? Poser tam klasik. Bu da mı Almancı? Suudi liginde oynuyor adam. Yeah. Claiming that like this hand symbol is just like a symbol of being a Turkish person is ridiculous. It's like saying Sig Heiling is a symbol of being a German person, okay? It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. Don't ever believe any dumbass that tries to say that shit. Just because it's like super commonly thrown up by Turks of all different political backgrounds doesn't actually change that reality, okay? The reason why they're saying that is because, yes, unfortunately, nationalism is unimaginably commonplace. Okay? It's very, very commonplace in Turkey. That's why I always joke about American patriotism, right? Because I come from a country that has a policy of denying its own genocide. I come from a country where they will beat the shit out of you, if not kill you, if you disrespect the flag. In America, and I do love this part of the American freedoms, I guess you can burn a flag. And it's a valid legal protest protected by the First Amendment. In Turkey, you take a flag off the flagpole, they'll kill you. They will. They have. Okay? Like normal people, random people, not just like fascist, fascist militants. Here. I mean, this guy's working for the FDD, okay? I'm sorry, but, it's so funny because this is like neoliberal Western Hitlerites talking about Turkish Hitlerites over here. Foundation FDD is a Foundation for Defense of Democracies. It's so funny. Anyway, whatever. The salute used by Nazis in Hitler's Germany is believed to have originated from and was widely used in Roman times. We likely agree the usage of the symbol by Nazi and Romans do not convey the same meaning. The Grey Wolf gesture in modern Turkey is not a general component of Turkish identity, but denotes loyalty to one specific branch of banal and fascist nationalism commonly propagated by the MHP. He's right. The FDD dickhead is right. It is a worldview that glorifies racial exceptionalism, denigrates pluralism and diversity, and celebrates violence. Hrant Dink's assassination is a good example. It is not widely used by Turks. It is widely used by Turks who subscribe to this deplorable creed. It has no place in being represented in national uniform. I do, at the end of the day, agree with this, which I think is inherently a little bit nationalist of me to say. But when you are representing your country on the international stage, nonetheless, doing some shit like that is so goddamn unacceptable, dude. It's such a shame. Hrant Dink is a Armenian journalist who was assassinated by another nationalist terrorist. What is FDD? For those of us that don't know Turkish politics as well, FDD is not Turkish, man. What are you talking about? FDD is a American think tank that is tasked with justifying American imperialism. It's a nonpartisan institution focusing on national security and foreign policy. It's an American imperialist foreign policy think tank. Why do Turks subscribe to racial exceptionalism? Is it different from the perspective other than Aryan? What the fuck? I don't get it. Dude, Westerners are so funny. They think that like the only racial supremacist nationalism is Aryan. The brother, every fascist group, every non-white fascist group subscribes to some form of racial purity and racial supremacy. What are you talking about? Do you know what Imperial Japan was doing? I bet Chuds are going to be up your ass about American athletes kneeling. No, Chuds don't know what the that symbol is. They're not going to be up my ass at all. That'd be really funny, though, if, like, I would love that if, like, the American right wing found allegiances with like Turkish fascism, that would be pretty funny for me, at least. I love that. I hope they do that, actually. I hope they're like, yeah, we actually love. Why do you hate Turks who love their country, you fake Turk? Like something that even 4chan groypers don't do. Like the number one group that all the Nazis in America despise are Turks on 4chan. Okay? That's why the terminology Turk Roach comes from that group. Anyway. There was no such thing as a gray wolf sign in Turkey until 1990. Even idealists don't use it. Even Turkish does not know the sign, which is claimed to be the 1,000-year-old symbol of Turkishness. In 1991, Turkish learned the sign from someone during his visit to Azerbaijan and turned it into the political symbol of MHP and idealism. Just 2 years later, we see that sign in front of the Madımak Hotel. That's a massacre that took place, as a matter of fact, by the is a pogrom. Basically, we covered it in the NATO conversation in Turkey. The irony, the inherent irony of all of these nationalist Turks is that their involvement in Turkish politics and their inception is directly American CIA operations in the country. Okay? It is so unimaginably cucked because its foundation comes from the United States of America planting the nationalist movement as a mechanism, just like they did in Italy and just like they did in every other NATO country, planting hyper-nationalist Turks, Turkish counter-guerrilla forces, counter-guerrilla, as an anti-communist militia to do violence to Turks, Turkish socialists, Turkish trade unionists, Turkish communists, Turkish progressives. But the reality is its inception and its rise to power was directed by the American government, the American State Department. So much for the 1,000-year robust history of pan-Turanists. It is, in many ways, not dissimilar to Fethullah Gülen, another CIA asset. Okay? He's Islamist. Fethullah Gülen is the Islamist version of this. Okay? MHP and the Grey Wolves, specifically the counter-guerrilla, is the old version. Anyway, you can see many things produced in Turkey by the Grey Wolf myth, which is important for Turkish history, from coins to posters and even logos. Of course, this is a myth that is thousands of years old, but the history of the so-called Grey Wolf sign in Turkey is not that old. Those who brought this sign into Turkish politics and used it for the past 30 years are the ones who carried out the Maraş, Çorum, Madımak, Bahçeli Evler, Gazi massacre, or Gezi, right? Or is it Gazi? Gazi katliamı. I don't remember that one. Okay, anyway, let's continue. And hundreds of attacks against the public, that is Turkish and MHP itself. There's no contradiction in MHP members using this sign. They are the ones who created this sign in Turkey. However, while you are trying to make this a common acceptance of society in general, some people will come along and say, come on. In fact, when this sign started to be used in the 90s, the masses who did not like MHP members would call MHP members dog people. So don't take anyone for a fool. Türkeş'in oğlu ve bir dönem AKP milletvekili Tuğrul Türkeş de benzer bir iddiayla işaretin Azerbaycan'dan alındığını doğrulamış zamanında. This is Alparslan Türkeş's son, former AKP MP. Tuğrul Türkeş also confirmed with a similar claim that the sign was taken from Azerbaijan. Finally, let me end this discussion from my point of view. According to Türkeş, who took the Grey Wolf sign from Azerbaijan and brought it to Turkey and made it the symbol of MHP idealism, the meaning of the Grey Wolf sign is as follows. The little finger is Turkish, and this index finger is Islam. The space between the sign we make, the Grey Wolf sign, is the world. Finally, the point where the remaining three fingers meet is the seal. So if we show it by pointing to the elder brother, this is what comes out. Turkish, we will put the seal of Islam on the world. This will piss off people, especially what I said when making a comparison to Fethullah Gülen. That's going to really piss off the nationalists because they think that this is like some, you know, thousands of year old history of this slogan and this concept. Anyway, good stuff. How insane, dude. I can't even be proud of my country for like 2.5 days before some asshole ruins it, you know? We had so much fun yesterday talking about how, you know, we stuck it to the Austrians. Soktuk Avusturyalılara bizi durdurdular zamanında Viyana'da. Ama geldik geri Avrupa'ya gösterdik. Ondan sonra al yine salağın önde gideni işte. Davul. Can't have shit, dude. So embarrassing. Your country's birthday is tomorrow, brother. No worries. Yeah. Mahir, what? Akkoyun is not reliable or intellectually honest person. He has a respectable protest to criticize inflation with the stickers at the election season. That's all. I'm not pointing to him because he's like an accurate historian. This chatter sent his thread, and his thread is ultimately informative and is not wrong. I don't disagree with the things that he mentioned in that thread. Ultimately, what difference does it make? Even if it was a 1,000-year-old pan-Turanist symbol, okay? Once that symbol is adopted by the MHP party, okay, by the ultra-nationalist fascists, then yeah, it's like, it is no different than claiming that you're just doing the Roman salute and you didn't actually intend, okay? You didn't actually intend to offend anybody or whatever. It's silly. Yeah. What about the ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene? Is it fascist? No, dude. Saying ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene that's ridiculous, okay? Like there's a boundary between being patriotic and saying it's still too nationalist for my liking in general, but like you're out of your, like the difference is literally being like, I love Germany. I'm proud to be German versus Germany for Germans. Do not have no foreigners out. Like there's a difference between the two, you know what I mean? There's like an entire planet between the two. The fuck are we doing? Anyway. Bak orada da ayrı bir sorun var biliyor musun? Ne mutlu Türkiye'm DNA'yı milliyetçi bir sembol yapıp bozkurtluğa bağlıyorlar. Bak bilmiyordum bunu. Apparently this common slogan, this common thing to say, ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene, which means like, you know, how proud I am to say I'm Turkish, basically. How happy I am to say I'm Turkish. It's like it's still, you know, it's still an installation of pride, I guess. Again, like I said, too nationalist for my taste, but like still very different than the thing that we were just discussing. Turns out, I guess they're trying to co-opt that too. Yeah, it's Atatürk. Do you think Atatürk was fascistic? I think Atatürk's like nationalism is definitely a little different than Alparslan Türkeş's nationalism or the MHP nationalism. It's an in-between because it's like post-colonial to a certain degree. It's still inherently reactionary. It's still obviously anti-socialist, anti-trade unionist, anti-communist, but a little bit different than the modern iteration. You might notice this as a constant. You might notice this because, like, while the recent initiative is to co-opt Atatürk and his imagery, the original hyper-nationalists despise him, aren't exactly big fans of him, consider him a Western op. I mean, the current God King Emperor of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Reis, the watermelon salesman, literally went to jail for shitting on Atatürk back in the day. Anyway, that's why, like I said, dude, a lot of these conversations are being had on like in an American audience with American understandings. And it is kind of funny to have these conversations because like, that's why I always say Americans don't know fascism and nationalism in the way that like Israelis live it, in the way that Turks live it. You know what I mean? Americans are too fat and too invested in capitalism to be like, to have a very tangible, hyper-focused, committed nationalist movement. America also can't be nationalist because America is a, you know, global hegemon. So like, what are national boundaries when you dominate the entire planet? When the entire planet is your playground. Anyway, let's talk more about Biden's W's.